In today's video, I'm going to share my updates for week 10 of my summer prep fat loss and how I've gone basically from this to looking like this, and did it in a way where I went in opposition to what we're typically told we need to do to lose weight and get rid of body fat. So stay tuned. You'll want to check this one out. All right, so the end of week 10 on my summer prep has happened now, and just wanted to give an update from last week when I updated on week 9. This was a crazy week. I had some weird stuff happen, and almost in opposition to what I thought it would be. So, last week I had bumped my calories up as a way to just kind of give my body a break from being in a constant deficit, and to kind of fill my energy stores, fill my muscles back out, and just get my body in a place where I was ready to push for the last 3 weeks. The original plan was starting last week, and then the final 3 weeks, I was going to pull my calories back down, run a deficit, and make that final push and see how much fat loss I could get in the final 3 weeks. And, on paper, it looked great because, everything on paper just says that when you're trying to lose weight, it's just a matter of calories in versus calories out. And as long as you burn more calories than you take in, that's all you need to do, which fundamentally, yes, I would say that that's true, but it's not always the case. And here's why. So this is an excellent example of what happened with me. So I had pulled my calories back down, and I pulled them down about 547, something like that per day. That should have definitely put me in a deficit, because that had put me in a deficit this whole time, right? So there wasn't too much of an issue with that. However, what happened this time is that I noticed right away my energy wasn't the same, which is to be expected. When you're in a calorie deficit, your energy is going to dip a bit. That's kind of normal. You got to deal with feeling a little bit hungry. Like, I get that. But this time was different. I was really feeling like almost like I hit a wall, and that was compounded with my hunger was a lot more than normal. Typically, I've been dealing with like a low level hunger, but this was a lot more than that. I just was constantly thinking about eating and food, and that was, kind of a weird thing for me because that wasn't happening. And then I noticed like my energy just wasn't the same. I tried to push through my workouts. I made it through Monday's workout, not bad, but by Wednesday I had to stop. Like, I didn't even make it halfway in. It just was the feeling of like hitting a wall. On top of that, all that week I had been developing this deep kind of pain high up in my hip, which came out of nowhere, and I didn't do anything that could have caused it. It was something that was progressively getting worse, and then by Wednesday it just was like really nagging at me. So I thought that this was really odd, and so I just kind of took a step back, assessed everything, and I guess the normal school of thought would be that, well, I'm no longer in a calorie deficit, and because I pulled my calories down, yeah, I'm going to feel run down. And that's just how it is when you try to lose fat and you're getting leaner, and your body doesn't have as much to pull from. So I just need a bigger calorie deficit. That would have been the easy answer. But I knew I was at a point where, like I said, when I first started doing this, my intention was to make sure that if I'm losing fat, but I'm going to do it in a way that is healthy. I am not going to jeopardize my health for just to chase a number on the scale, basically, and just in the name of fat loss. I'm going to do it in a way that's healthy. And for me, my calories were pretty low. I mean, where I was, there wasn't a lot of wiggle room where I could say that if I were to pull my calories down even more, it would not have been a healthy place to be, because my calories were kind of at the bottom end of where I determine, what is kind of healthy. Let's put it that way. So I didn't really have the room to pull the calories down. On the other end of things, trying to add more exercise to burn more calories, well, yeah, that's an option. But then I start thinking about, again, my health and sustainability. If I'm trying to do that, and I'm already feeling like I hit a wall, and then I add more exercise to that, more workouts or longer workouts or however that's going to go, that's not really going to help my recovery out. That's probably not going to have me feeling a whole lot better. I'm probably going to feel a whole lot worse. So, I knew that at this point, it was time to dial in my recovery, just give my body a little bit longer. Now, what happened the prior week was during week 9, I had been on a higher calorie intake. I bumped my calories up almost 600 more a day. And what happened was, initially my weight came up, but then it leveled out and it started to show like a little drop toward the end of the week. So I was on higher calories, my body was starting to drop. So my thinking was, let me get those calories back up and see if the same trend starts to happen. And so what I did, I bumped my calories back up, and I was on about an extra 317, I think it was that, per day. On average, that's where I was. So I bumped them up and I felt, a lot better, which, on more food, you probably are going to. However, by the next day, my hip pain was down. I assessed it to be about 80% better. Within 2 days, it was completely gone. And, I felt a lot more like myself. I felt like much more, kind of ready to go, and like I was recovering really well. My energy levels were good. Everything was back that way. The most interesting thing happened though. Initially in week 9, my calories were down, and for the first 3 days, my weight was increasing each day, to the point where I was up over a pound, maybe about 1.4, something like that, pounds in 3 days when I had dropped my calories way down. I pushed them back up, and then what happened was my body within a couple days started to drop weight, and it dropped pretty big, like almost 2 pounds within just a couple days or so. And then I thought that that's kind of where it would peak out at, but it didn't. Then what happened is I got on the scale this morning. Again, I had even a little bit higher calories than I had been having. So where I was allowing myself like almost like 600 more a day, it was probably another 100 extra. So about 700 extra calories. Got on the scale this morning and I was 2 pounds lighter, like no joke, 2 pounds. And it was just kind of unbelievable to see that happened while eating more food. So, my metabolism seems to just be in a place where it's working better, I guess, for lack of a better word, functioning better. Things are working better on more food right now. So had I just went with, the kind of the conventional wisdom of eat less, move more, and tried to dig myself into a bigger calorie deficit, I have no doubt I'd have been feeling like a train wreck right now. I would not have been doing the best thing for what I feel would be the best thing for my health. And so, here I am now, kind of in a place where my body's responding better to eating more food, and I'm dropping. So my weight's dropping, and I double checked it with photos and also my measurements. And my measurement shown that I've dropped another 1/2 inch this week off my waist. And my photos definitely, you can see an improvement from week 9 to week 10. So I'll show them here as well. So just an interesting thing to see that, it's not always simply a matter of, in order to lose fat, you got to burn more calories than you consume, or you just need to cut more calories or burn more calories. Sometimes I think that, we have to assess what our body's doing and be able to read what it's doing, and then kind of look objectively at the data that we're given, and kind of look at the results and look at all of it. And sometimes it's not just, trying to burn more calories or pull more calories out or dig a bigger deficit. Sometimes it's just knowing what direction we need to pivot. Sometimes we got to go the other way. Sometimes our body needs more fuel rather than less. Sometimes we might need more recovery to get things kick-started rather than less. So this was definitely an interesting week to see that happen. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, assess things again tomorrow, just see kind of what the trend is, what's happening. And if things hold the way that they have been here, then I'll probably just go into next week keeping my intake up where it is. I'm not going to add any more food, but I'm probably not going to take anything away. Conversely, you know, if things kind of stall out or whatever, then that might be time where I can get the green light and kind of, you know, pull my calories back down and then run, you know, a little bit of a deficit. So just going to see what happens with that. And then I'll be back up on here probably in another week to update the results. So till then, yeah, take care. And that's about it for me now.